Hey bro, what day are you on?
I don't count the days. I make the days count. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. HVK all day. Let's get it, man. Hope you guys are doing good. Appreciate you guys for tuning into another video. Uh, the topic that I wanted to talk to you guys in this video is the top reasons why you should not count the days on SR. Okay. And you could apply this to other things as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be retention, but this is just something more common, right? Whenever you're quitting something, guys, a lot of people, kind of start counting the days of how long they go without doing something, which is, fairly normal, in the beginning stages. Like, it's perfectly fine to be, kind of keeping track and stuff like that. But what I've came to realize, guys, and this is kind of like something that people don't really talk about, is how counting days can actually be counterproductive, and it could be like, yeah, man, like it could lead you like nowhere positive, okay, because you're so focused on counting days and identifying with days that it doesn't actually make you move forward in your life, bro. You're kind of just stuck in this one phase of knowing what day you're on and like all this stuff, bro. So in this video, I wrote down a couple reasons why you shouldn't count the days. And this is the secret, guys, to going on long streaks, man. So listen up, okay? So the first thing that I wrote on top reasons not to count your days is it makes progress seem slow, okay? It makes progress seem slow. Like, whenever you're constantly thinking about, what day you're on and all this stuff, bro, it makes the days go by longer. It feels more like a drag, okay? Like, if you just started a new streak and you're just like constantly thinking about what day you're on, it's gonna make it feel like a drag. It's gonna make the days go by slower. It's just like the same thing. Like, if you ever been at work or you've been doing something boring and you keep looking at the time, you keep focusing on what time it is, it makes the time go by even slower. And but when you're not thinking about the time, when you're just living your life, you're just kind of forgetting about it, that's when it goes by quicker. And it's like the same thing when it comes to, SR and, counting streaks and stuff like that, is that it makes your progress seem way more slower. Okay, so if you're like barely starting, man, and if you're counting, um, it's just gonna be kind of discouraging in a way, right? But everybody is different, guys. So like, don't take this video as like as a way of me saying not to do it. Like, you could do whatever you want at the end of the day, bro. But this is just my advice. So that's the first thing that I wrote, guys. It makes progress seem slower than it actually is, compared to if you just forget about it, you'll be on a high streak before you know it. But that usually happens when you just stop focusing so much on it, right? Which kind of leads me to my next topic, is that it makes you obsessed and pedestalize a streak. Yes, guys, I've seen a lot of people get so obsessed with, counting days and, putting their streak like on a pedestal, bro. I see like different comments sometimes of like people always like bragging about what day they're on, and it seems kind of silly to me. Like, why does it matter so much like what day you're on? And I don't know, I just see it as a form of like constantly seeking validation, is like constantly talking about what day you're on and all this stuff, bro, when at the end of the day, it's like, this is a personal journey, between you and yourself, man, right? You and God. So always being obsessed and pedestalizing a streak is kind of like, it's never been something that I really focused on, and you shouldn't really focus on it as well. Which leads to my next topic, is comparing yourself to other people, viewing yourself as higher or lower. Like, if you're on a low streak, guys, um, and you see someone that's like on a higher streak, bro, like you probably start comparing yourself with them. You know, you probably think that they're better than you, which isn't the case at all, man. Like, you could be on like a low streak, guys, but you could be putting in that work, you know? You'd be putting in that work compared to someone that's on a high streak, but they're not even like being productive with their energy. Okay, like a streak or a number doesn't really mean anything like how people make it seem to be. Like, obviously, like, yes, it's good to be disciplined for long periods of time, but at the same time, it's like, what are you doing in that time that you're retaining? Okay, like, are you just living like being stagnated? You know, are you still doing the same things? Are you making progress in your life, or are you just counting days and commenting what day you're on and all this stuff, bro? You know, it could be a trap, right? So it could be a trap. It could also like inflate people's egos, which I see too as well. It's just like That's why I never like being too involved in like Reddit or like these places like a community, right? Like, I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird to me. It's just like I don't need to constantly keep comparing myself or have other people compare themselves to me, you know, because you should be focusing on yourself more than like what other people are doing, right? You shouldn't care if someone's on a super long streak or a super low streak. um, you know, you guys should encourage each other, obviously, but don't use it as like a thing to view yourself in a lower form or in a higher form. You know, just retain and just live your life, man. It's that simple. All right. And the last thing that I wrote was it makes you self-sabotage and relapse. Okay, I seen a couple videos in my past of like people who are constantly bragging about their streak. Man, they're always talking about their how long they've been retaining and all this stuff, bro. And then they end up just self-sabotaging and just like relapsing. Because, and here's another thing that I forgot to mention, is like when you're always counting days, guys, you're basically identifying with something that you're not doing, right? So it's like you're not doing that, but at the same time you're focusing a lot of your attention on it, you know? So it could be kind of like your mind could kind of turn the tables on you, where it's just like you're focused on your streak so much that you end up like relapsing like out of nowhere, right? Because you keep focusing on it. So like the tables turn. Is like you RKO yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you just self-sabotage. And this is something that like you notice, bro. It's like when you're always thinking about it, when you're always like, it's just so unnecessary, man. Like you just come to realize that it's so unnecessary. Um, Maybe in the very beginning, like in the very beginning of your journey, like the first 3 months, is perfectly fine. Like, bro, like my advice to you would be like count the months up until like 100 days, right? It's like, oh, cool, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and after you reach 100 days, just forget about it. You know, just forget about your streak. Just forget about, not in the way of relapsing, but like forget about like keeping track of what day you're on. You know, just know what day you started, and then after that, just live your life. Okay, don't get stuck in this trap of feeling like you constantly need to be keeping up with what day you're on and comparing like your streak and I don't know, bro. Like all this stuff, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're focused so much on like the journey or like retention that you're not actually focusing on life, right? Because this one person told me one time during a live, he's like, "Oh, what do the people around you think, or what do the people around you say that you're like retaining?" And I thought it was like nothing. It's like, what would they say? Like, I don't even talk about it. Like, I just live my life like regularly, you know? Like off the camera, guys, I'm not over here thinking about what day I'm on and, you know, talking to people about streaks and stuff like that, bro. I'm literally just living my life, you know? So it doesn't make a difference to the people that I come in contact with or that I interact with. I'm just like a regular person, bro. You know, I'm not like somebody that is just so like, how would you put it, have that on my mind 24/7. It's like, obviously, like the only reason I make these videos is just to help people out and like encourage them. But at the same time, like in my personal life, I'm not over here thinking about streaks and thinking about like all this stuff, bro. Because like I wrote right here, it could be, you could use that as an obsession. You could turn it into like a, you could like pedestalize it, right? And you don't want to do that, man. You know, because it's counterproductive. And like I said, bro, if you're focusing so much on it, you're still identifying with something that you're not doing. Like if somebody would ask you like, "Oh, what day are you on of brushing your teeth?" Like that's not something that you even think about, bro. That's just something that you naturally do. And that's that's the type of level that you should get on when it comes to this journey, is that you treat it as a lifestyle, man. Like you retain, and you don't even think about retaining, bro. And that's the secret to going on long streaks, is forgetting about streaks and forget about like identifying with the streak, guys. Because you could be, let's say you retain for like 1,000 days, bro, okay, and then you know, relapse or whatever. And so technically you're back on day one, and then somebody over here is like on a 30-day streak, and then you're on a 1-day streak. That doesn't mean that all that progress was lost, bro, you know. So that's why when it comes to days, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like better than other people, or that you're better than them. Like everybody's on this journey for a different reason, you know, but it's all personal, right? So it's getting hot in here, guys. You know, I just want to drop a quick video on this topic. Is, you know, the secret to going on long streaks is to forget about being on a streak and just live your life. All right. Um, yeah, bro, it's just something that I never really got into. Like even discovering this journey, guys. Like I said in the very beginning, it's normal to be like curious about what day you're on and seeing like, oh, the first 30 days, the first 60 days, the 90 days. But once you treat this as like a lifestyle, guys, like I'm telling you guys, like if you're on a new streak, just count until like 100 days, or just count the first 3 months. And then after that, just completely forget about it. Like forget about, you know, constantly keeping track, because it's just going to keep you stuck in, you know, being obsessed with a streak and stuff like that, man. Like, I don't know, it's kind of silly, man. You know, you got to transcend, uh, you know, streaks and retention, bro. Like, you just got to have it ingrained as a lifestyle. So you just retain, bro, and you don't even think about being on it. It's just a part of your life. Okay, you don't want to be one of these people that is just, you go from being obsessed with corn to being obsessed with, you know, counting days, right? And like bashing other people, bro. And man, it's weird, bro. Like it's kind of like, just because somebody's on retention, bro, doesn't mean that they're like, how would you say it? Like it doesn't mean that we all think alike. Okay, you know, I be in my own lane, right? I don't need people comparing themselves to me, or I don't need to compare myself to another person. Like just live your life, right? Just live your life and you'll be all right. So with that being said, I hope you guys got something out of this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.